Hi, I'm Wayne Lombard. I'm the head of athletic performance for the senior women's hockey team. Today we had Erin here in the gym. So basically what we try to do in the gym is just make sure that we are preparing them for what their needs are on the pitch. So with regards to the positions that they're playing, with regards to what the outputs will be in tournaments, one from injury prevention, but also from a physiological standpoint, we try and ensure that they are prepared for the demands that they're going to be facing in international hockey, and also that they are actually strong enough to reduce their injury risk as well.
After making my debut in 2014 and doing all the proper rehab and making sure that my quads would be strong enough to hold me through the rest of my career, I worked my way back into the team, and in 2015 I was included in the squad again and went on my first international tour with the team. We went to Valencia, Spain, and it was a tough tour. We faced some tough opposition, and the reality of playing hockey for South Africa, a non-professional sport, and going up against the best in the world really did hit home for me there, because I was now not as awestruck by just taking the field, but I also wanted to compete, and I wanted to win. And so that was a tough tour for me. Didn't get a lot of game time. And I remember crying with my roommate in our room. We were both at university together, and she's actually the co-captain of the team with me now, Cornita Bobs, and we were roommates and crying about, we would get on the field for maybe 2 minutes. So the reality of what it takes to play at the top really set in that tour. And just for rotation of squad, I actually wasn't included for the next tournament that took place in Johannesburg that year, and that was another huge knock for me that took me a lot to get over, particularly because 2016 was the Olympic Games, and I mean, any athlete dreams of one day becoming an Olympian, and so for me to not be included in that team in 2015, I knew that it meant that I would have to work doubly as hard to make sure that I was included in the team for the 2016 Rio Olympics. And so I knew that by doing that, I would give myself just that extra edge, that extra something, to make me noticed and be included in the 2016 Olympic team. Yeah, the South African women's hockey team, we weren't sent to the 2016 Rio Olympics. A decision by SASCOC not to send us meant there were a lot of heartbroken hockey players. And it was a real turning point in my life, because, after all of these hurdles and reaching that point, I had a decision to make. Do I stick around and continue, or do I jump off here and enjoy the rest of my life? And I think I just couldn't. There was just something that stopped me and kept me going, kept me fighting for the next game, kept me fighting for the next cap. Even though 2016 I wasn't able to become an Olympian, I knew that in 4 years' time, there was the possibility that I could be an Olympian. And so I kept fighting and kept working hard. And we knew that we could either turn around and give up and say good luck to the next generation, or we could push through and fight hard and make sure that we would go to Tokyo and we would become Olympians and make sure that our hard work and all the effort that we put in would pay off. And so we went to the Commonwealth Games and the 2018 Hockey World Cup, which were again tough tournaments. It's always tough getting out there on the big stage and facing the best in the world. One game that stood out for me at the 2018 World Cup was our game against Argentina, where we drew, and I'll never forget how emotional it was as a team to go through that. Just fighting for a draw. But it was so much bigger than that. It was everything that had gotten us to that point. And I can really say that we fought for all the hard times that we had been through together. You know, hugging each other at the end of the game, coming off with a draw. I mean, who knows? I mean, imagine we had won, but coming off with a draw and hugging each other after that game, and having this unspoken understanding that what we had just gone through together to get that draw was because of all the hardships that had led us to that point. But after that World Cup, a couple of players, older players, you know, decided it was their time to retire, and the captain at the time, Celeste Damons, as she was kind of discussing with us that, you know, she thinks that this will be her last tournament, she came up to me and she said to me, "Erin, I think you will be the next captain." And I was quite shocked because I'd never really pictured myself in that position. I'd been in leadership positions before, but to captain the South African women's hockey team, I mean, that takes that grade 9 dream of being a South African women's hockey player to the next level. So when she said that, I didn't want to think too much about it, but it meant a lot that, you know, it came from someone like her who had led me on the field. And so when she did retire and there was a change in coaching staff and the next coach came in, he did make me captain of the team, and it is such an honor. It is such an honor to fill that position and to be able to lead an exceptional group of young women who I know how tough it is to do it, and I know what it takes day in and day out. And I think as a leader, I want to be the one that leads by example, and that's what probably drives me the most. You know, on days when I don't feel like getting up and going to the gym, when I don't feel like doing my running session, it's knowing that it's hard, and it's hard for my teammates. But if I'm not going to do it, how can I expect them to do it? You know, if I work hard, I can make sure that those players around me can be their best. And that's what it's all about. It's about making sure that all of us, all 18 of us included in a team, are bringing out their strengths, our individual strengths, the things that make us great. And by me working hard and leading by example, I hope that I inspire those around me to also bring their strengths and make sure that they're doing their part for the team and the success of the team. We had gone through so much. We had gone through so much together, and all the odds were stacked against us. And was it ever going to happen? I mean, of course the Olympics was going to happen, but were we going to be a part of it was always a question. And we were there. We went to the Olympics. We walked into the village. We saw how professional athletes live and what this professional sporting life should be like.